I was on the 11th floor of some over-air-conditioned hotel in Chicago, halfway through a sales pitch that could have changed my life, when I saw it. Her Instagram. Status, free. It hit harder than it should have. I texted her, "What's up with your bio?" She replied faster than I expected, like she was waiting for it. "Relax, Nunya. You're too sensitive. It's for engagement. I'm a blogger. It gets more likes." Nunya. The word alone felt like an elbow to the ribs. It's Russian. Slang. Means something like crybaby. She'd picked it up from some influencer podcast and started throwing it around when she got tired of explaining her behavior. I used to think it was cute, back when I thought we were a team. So there I was, sitting on the edge of a hotel bed, my laptop screen glowing with dollar signs, and all I could think about was a word and a bio. You know what people don't talk about? The exact moment the switch flips. The moment you go from disbelief to certainty. I didn't scream. Didn't text back some long, poetic speech about disrespect or marriage vows. I just sat there for another 10 minutes, quiet. My heart beat like a drum in my ears. Then I opened Instagram, scrolled through my gallery, and found the best shot from our wedding day, her in that white lace dress, eyes glassy with fake sincerity. Me, smiling like a man who didn't know better. Caption. Now she's free. Posted. Let the likes roll in, sweetheart. The flight home was quiet. Long, uneventful. The kind of silence that teaches you how loud betrayal really is. I didn't call her. She didn't call me. We just pretended like this was normal. Like nothing had changed. But everything had. I got home at midnight. The porch light was off, which told me everything I needed to know. She always left it on for me. Like I was a stray dog sniffing my way back to the front door. The house smelled like lilac and lemon cleaner. Artificial. Masked. She wasn't home. Her laptop was open on the couch with a half-written blog post about finding your truth. The irony was a little too thick to swallow, but I guess that's what happens when your whole identity is curated through filters and fake captions. I didn't sleep. Instead, I walked into the bedroom, opened her closet, and started grabbing her stuff. Every pair of overpriced jeans she made me hold in dressing rooms. Every crop top she bought after midnight during emotional clearance sales. The designer heels she made me promise not to tell her mom about. All of it. In trash bags. Not folded. Not handled delicately. Stuffed. That "you're too sensitive" part? That kept echoing in my head every time I tied a knot. The next morning, I texted her. "Your things are out front. Bring a broom." I didn't wait for a response. I made coffee, sat on the porch, and watched as the trash bags leaned lazily against the mailbox like drunk reminders of everything I let slide. I thought about the time she called me boring for saying no to some party her influencer friends were throwing. Thought about how I stopped talking about my job because tech isn't sexy. How she rolled her eyes every time I asked her to stop flirting with her followers like she was single. Too sensitive? No. Too silent for too long. Let's see how her likes handle the fallout. She showed up the next day in a white Tesla she couldn't afford without my name on the lease. Pulled up like she was coming to pick up a takeout order, not the shredded remnants of a 3-year marriage. I was in the garage, wiping down my bike, an old Harley I restored myself, when I heard the soft electronic hum of that car. I didn't move. Didn't even blink. Just listened as her door opened, heels clicking across the driveway like a metronome of arrogance. Then she had the nerve to knock on the side of the garage like this was some kind of misunderstanding. "Seriously," she said, arms crossed. "Trash bags?" I didn't look up. Just kept polishing chrome that gleamed a hell of a lot brighter than my wedding ring. "You're lucky I didn't set them on fire," I said. "Oh, come on," she scoffed, like I just overreacted to a missing spoon. It was a joke. The bio thing. You know I play the game. That's how branding works. Branding. It always comes back to the damn brand. Not marriage. Not vows. A brand. I turned to face her then. Really looked. The woman who once told me she loved that I was stable. That I grounded her. Who whispered at 2 a.m. that she'd never met a man like me because I wasn't out for clicks or clout. Now she stood there like a stranger, more offended by how I handled her wardrobe than by the fact that she humiliated me in front of 3,000 strangers with a stupid bio and a flippant tone. "You're trending," I said flatly. "Congrats. Must be the algorithm." Her cheeks flushed, but not from guilt. From annoyance. She hated when I turned her own language against her. "I've got campaigns scheduled this week," she said, motioning toward the bags. "I can't be seen dragging garbage bags into my apartment." "You mean our apartment?" I asked, raising a brow. "The one you use as a backdrop for those single-girl brunch selfies?" Her lips tightened. I'll send someone to pick this up, she said, already turning to go. No need, I replied. I had the locks changed. That stopped her. She spun back toward me, eyes wide, like I just slapped her with a frozen fish. You what? You walked out emotionally a year ago. Physically this month. I just made it official. You can't do that, she hissed. Oh, but I did. You see, I'm sensitive, remember? So sensitive that I called our lawyer this morning. Turns out, that prenup you were so eager to sign because you believed in love? It's airtight. You walk, you lose. Silence. No more clacking heels. No more influencer voice. Just a woman realizing her image didn't have a safety net. She took a step forward. You're not being fair. Fair. That word tasted like rust. I leaned against the garage door, arms folded. You branded yourself free. So be free. No more house. No more name. And no more me footing the bill while you play dress up with grown men in your DMs. Her eyes shimmered then. Maybe with tears. Maybe with panic. Maybe just the reflection of a life unraveling. She reached into her coat pocket. I thought it might be keys, or a ring, or some last shred of dignity. It was her phone. She angled it slightly. I caught the faint red glow of live. You're recording this? I asked, incredulous. She smirked. Public narrative matters. So I smiled. Real slow. Real cold. Then let me give them the ending. You walked out on a man who gave you everything. Now you can give your followers a front row seat to your public undoing. She stopped the stream. Finally. No would he come back. No hashtag. Just her. Standing there. Realizing she'd lost the only thing she never thought she'd need. A man who knew who he was. I turned and walked inside. Let her take the trash bags. Or don't. Let her explain it to her fans. As far as I was concerned, she was no longer my problem. 3 days. That's how long it took for her to switch gears, from arrogant to desperate, from influencer to imploder. 3 days of silence from me, and suddenly I was getting paragraphs again. It started small. We need to talk. Then longer. I feel like everything is spiraling, and you're just letting it happen. And finally. You're ruining me. I've lost brand deals. People think I'm unstable. Please, can we meet? Oh, sweetheart. I'm not ruining you. I'm just not protecting you anymore. Big difference. See, in our marriage, I was the invisible scaffolding holding up her illusion. She played the glowing goddess on screen, while I was the guy behind the camera. The one doing the dishes so she could post. Husband surprised me with breakfast photos using food she didn't make and plates I'd cleaned. But when I took my hands off the wheel, she spun out. Her DMs, her comments section, her engagement, all of it turned. Fast. Turns out, when you build your castle on curated dishonesty, all it takes is one crack in the image before the whole damn tower collapses. That wedding photo I posted? Now she's free. It went viral. Couples reposted it like it was gospel. Memes spun from it. Even an actual relationship therapist stitched it into a TikTok with. Men who don't speak often still know exactly how to say goodbye. That caption was my mic drop, but the internet made it an anthem. And oh, the comments. Imagine embarrassing your husband for clout and then getting mad he served you poetic justice. Free? Girl, you're free to stay single. She tried to fight back. Posted a story the next morning wearing some oversized sunglasses and her signature faux zen tone. Just a reminder, social media isn't real life. People break up, they move on. It's sad, but it's also growth. Please be kind. Sure, be kind. While she casually omitted the fact that the growth came right after she posted herself as free while married. The DMs I got from her followers. Oh, you wouldn't believe the irony. Messages from women saying I deserved better. From men asking if I needed a wingman. From one particular corporate sponsor who said, that post? Genius. Ever thought about writing relationship content? The world was doing the heavy lifting now. I didn't need to speak. All I had to do was let the mask keep slipping. By day 5, her manager reached out. Yeah, I know, manager. For a woman whose biggest brand deal was a protein shake nobody drank and a teeth whitening kit that looked like a taser. He emailed me. Hey, let's keep this classy. We'd like to issue a joint statement about your separation to help keep the heat off both parties. I laughed so hard I almost dropped my coffee. Classy? Where was that energy when she went free while married? When she called me a Nunya for asking a basic damn question? No. Let the heat burn. Let it expose what I tolerated. Let it boil off the illusion and show the bones of what our marriage really was, a performance for strangers. Later that night, I opened the box where I kept the last wedding keepsakes. The vows she wrote, printed in her favorite cursive font. I hadn't looked at them since the ceremony. You are my calm, my gravity, the one who sees the real me. Funny, because the real her never showed up after that day. I folded the paper in half, then again, until it was the size of a matchbook. Then I lit a single match, watched it burn clean in a ceramic bowl, and dumped the ashes into the trash, right where her brand was heading. She called later that night. I didn't answer. She texted, "Can we please talk in person?" I typed back 2 words. "You're free." Send. I didn't block her. I didn't need to. See, blocking is a reaction. It says you got to me. But silence? Silence is its own language. And trust me, she's fluent enough to understand when a man stops chasing. But that didn't stop her from trying. She kept texting, kept calling, kept weaving between remorse and manipulation like a seasoned performer fumbling through a failing act. And me? I was building my case. Not out of spite. Out of principle. Because this wasn't just about the bio. It wasn't about the free status or the trash bags or even the fake tears she tried to dial in once the followers turned on her. It was about the slow erosion of something sacred: trust. The one currency you can't counterfeit forever. She'd violated the contract of us, and now I was preparing for the audit. That Friday, I met with a lawyer. A quiet guy in a gray suit who didn't smile much. I liked him instantly. "She's going to push for optics," he said, flipping through the printed screenshots I handed him. "You're not just divorcing a woman, you're divorcing her narrative." I nodded. "I've already withdrawn joint access to all the accounts. Froze the emergency card. Changed the passwords to my business portal. She never contributed to it, but I know how these things go. One sob story and suddenly the court's full of crocodile tears." He smirked. "Smart man. Most guys show up here 10 steps behind. You're already walking into the fire with a raincoat and a plan." He slid a folder toward me. "Keep documenting everything. Messages, posts, any attempt to damage your name. It's all relevant." And I had plenty. She'd gone live again 2 days before, trying to reshape the breakup as mutual, a soft fade-out between 2 adults who just wanted different things. Claimed we grew apart, and that he needed space. No, darling. I needed truth. Space was just the byproduct of what happens when you lie with a smile and think no one's paying attention. But the real kicker? A friend of mine, quiet, observant, not the type to gossip, sent me a screen recording. It was her private story, the one reserved for close friends. Guess she forgot he was on that list. In it, she was sipping wine in some loft apartment with a view she couldn't afford without me, laughing with a guy I'd never seen before. Caption: "Some men break. Others get replaced. Cute." I saved the video. Sent it to my lawyer with the subject line: "Exhibit A, integrity for sale." The reply came back 10 minutes later: "Keep them coming. This is gold." And that was the moment I realized I wasn't just ending a marriage. I was reclaiming my story. She built a brand on fiction. I was writing the unfiltered version, one post, one legal document, one quiet, devastating truth at a time. She wanted likes. She got light, truth spotlight, burning through the filters. Saturday morning, I stopped by our old cafe, the one she used to post about like she'd discovered the place, even though I'd been going there since college. Barista smiled when he saw me. "Hey, man, haven't seen you around in a while. Still with?" "No," I said, with a small smile. "She's free." He raised a brow but didn't ask. People never need the full story. They just feel the temperature drop when someone walks in colder than they used to be. I sat down with my coffee, opened my laptop, and drafted a blog post. Not for attention. Not for revenge. Just for record. Title: "When she went free, so did I." In it, I wrote about dignity. About what it means to love someone who turns your loyalty into leverage. About how walking away with your soul intact is more powerful than staying out of fear, or shame, or inertia. I didn't use her name. Didn't need to. The people who needed to read it already knew. By Monday, it had 40,000 shares. She posted a response the next day, crying in her car. Caption: "People can be so cruel. Please be kind. You don't know the full story." But we did. And for once, the comments weren't on her side. Because the full story was starting to leak. And the truth? It doesn't need hashtags to trend. Before the free bio, before the garbage bags on the lawn and the viral captions and the lawyer's folder marked Exhibit A, before all of that, there were signs. Quiet ones. Subtle, like spiderweb cracks in a windshield, barely visible until the whole thing shatters. I remember the first time she canceled date night for a collab dinner. Said it was for some protein drink startup and that I wouldn't understand. I remember her tone more than her words, condescending. The way she kissed my cheek like I was a golden retriever she was leaving at a kennel. It wasn't the dinner that hurt. It was the detachment. The way her eyes stayed glued to her phone while she said goodbye. She used to dress for me. Now she dressed for strangers. Low-cut crop tops and those wide-legged pants that looked like curtains. I asked her once, "Is that for me, or the feed?" She laughed. "Babe, everything's for the feed. You know that." I didn't. Not then. There was a time I'd come home to music playing, dinner half-cooked, her hair in a messy bun, and some indie film playing in the background. She used to sit on the counter and read me snippets of books she liked. Poems, even. She wasn't always about angles and algorithms. But something happened once she hit 10K followers. A switch flipped. She stopped cooking. Started posing with takeout. Stopped talking about dreams. Started posting fake quotes about manifesting and aligning with your higher self. Stopped loving me. Started loving attention. I caught her once, practicing her laugh in the mirror. Swear to God. She was standing in front of our bedroom vanity, phone in hand, testing which laugh looked most natural on video. I didn't say a word. Just watched. Like a ghost in his own home. You ever feel that? Being haunted in real-time by someone who's still living under your roof? Someone who used to hold your face like it was treasure, now barely making eye contact between takes. But I told myself it was a phase. The way men raised to endure tell themselves to push through anything, even when it's gutting them from the inside out. And so I endured. I endured the late nights. The new friends with names like Chad and Rafe who commented fire emojis under her mirror selfies. The subtle rebranding of our marriage into something aesthetic rather than authentic. One night, she posted a photo of our anniversary dinner with a caption that didn't mention me at all. Just, grateful for growth. I sat across from her at that table, still chewing my steak. And that was the moment I realized I wasn't a husband anymore. I was a prop. A background character in a story she was writing for an audience who didn't know the difference between a curated life and a crumbling one. So I started keeping score. Not of petty things. Not receipts from arguments. No, I started tallying absence. The missed kisses. The forgotten questions about my day. The way she turned down intimacy with the same rehearsed line. I'm just so exhausted, babe. All this content, it's like a job. Except jobs pay you to show up. And she stopped showing up for us long before the bio turned free. It's funny, people think the final straw was the public embarrassment. That seeing my marriage get turned into a punchline lit the fuse. But truth is, that fuse had been smoldering for a long, long time. The real final straw? She called me a good investment. Said it during brunch with her friend Kayla. I mean, he's boring, yeah, she laughed, sipping some overpriced mimosa, but he's solid. Good bones. Like a reliable stock. And I just sat there. Like I didn't hear it. Like I didn't feel the knife. That's the thing about guys like me. We don't react right away. We absorb. We analyze. And then, when the time is right, we burn the whole blueprint. Because I'm not a stock. I'm not a foundation you get to build your fake empire on and then abandon once you're branded. I'm a storm you didn't forecast. And you know what they say about storms? They don't text back. She came back. Of course she did. That's the thing about people who trade truth for attention. They always think they can spin the narrative one more time. Patch the holes in the boat after it's already sinking. Sell the illusion, even when it's on clearance. I got the knock on a Sunday afternoon. Not a text. Not a phone call. A literal knock on the door like we were back in 2008 and she forgot we had smartphones. I knew it was her before I even opened it. There's a certain rhythm to guilt. Hesitant. Soft. Cowardly. I opened the door. There she was. Hair tied back. No makeup. Wearing that damn cardigan she only brought out when she wanted to look real. The same one she used in all those vulnerable story posts where she cried about healing and self-worth, while cropping out the fact that the man holding her up was me. Hey, she said, voice light like we were on friendly terms. Do you have a minute? I stared at her. She held up a box. A literal cardboard box. I found some of your stuff at the apartment. Thought you might want it. I almost laughed. My stuff. Like she was doing me a favor. Like the years I gave her could be neatly repackaged in a shipping container from Office Depot. What do you want? I asked. Her lips twitched. Not quite a smile. Not quite a tremble. Can we talk? About what? You being free? Or me being boring? She winced. Good. That meant she remembered the brunch conversation too. She set the box down at her feet. I've been doing a lot of thinking. No doubt, I said, arms folded. Nothing clears the mind like losing followers. That's not fair. Now that made me laugh. You know what's not fair? Spending 3 years loving someone who thinks commitment is a content strategy. Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. For once. I let the silence hang, just long enough for her to feel the weight of it. Then she tried the old card. The one she used to play when she still knew how to get to me. I miss you. And there it was. The phrase that used to level me. That used to melt every wall I built. Not anymore.